welcome Maria Ezaris. Is that how you pronounce your name, Maria?
It's exactly how you pronounce my name.
Beautiful. That's great. Now, it's so nice to get together with another player in the audiobook game.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because you've been around a lot longer than I have. And
you can tell that just by looking.
Yeah. No, not that. I feel like, I've certainly aged thousands of years since I started doing audiobook production, but I've never had more fun. I don't know how you find it.
That's great. Yeah, that's lovely to hear. Yeah, I enjoy it too.
Yeah, but you would have started like way back. Like, what even got you into it? Because I know why, how I fell into it, which is, working with Vision Australia, Radio Network, and disability sector, who are all doing audiobooks. So that was the angle at which I came in. But you came in like way earlier.
Outside, that's what I can hear.
Frontierland. You did the frontier.
Exactly. So we've got you from you who's kind of come from the inside out to some degree, and I'm from the Wild West on the way in. Yeah, that's how it is. It's true.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true. So I guess my starting point with it, Maria, was that I've always been very fond of music for a start, and I'm very much an auditory learner. So, and I must confess, to you and everybody else that, and whenever I'm presenting, I always fess up to this as well, is that I'm a hopeless reader. I never read for pleasure. I'll read technical manuals and, I've been a programmer for many years. So I think in some ways the last thing I ever felt like doing when I got home was going, I've just been looking at screens and texts all day and typing and script. I know, I'll just sit down with some more text. To relax. But I think it's probably just lazier than that, and like a lot of blokes.
No, and this is the interesting thing, because when I was working for the radio station, I was for 2RPH, I was the deputy chair. And so we were playing around with the idea of an audiobook production service. It didn't seem a big stretch. And so I did a lot of statistical research, to present to the board. And one of the things that I found really interesting was that, audiobook, availability of all books actually stretches the demography of who is reading. If you want to call listening reading, it's actually taking in material through print in a different platform. And where it's stretching into is males. And where it's stretching into is younger males as well. And and I don't know if you saw Kristen's little presentation. She works with me at Audiobooks Radio. And she was, doing little kind of, she did the broad landscape of statistics, and then she did like little interviews with people. CEO of a company who reads, he said, 100 books a year, but none of them are sitting like, as you were saying, reading down, sitting text. They're reading by listening to it in the car or on the train.
Yeah, I think that's so true. That's been really interesting, and absolutely the same observation. I think I read something about 3 or 4 years ago, and of course, because in a weird way, we're kind of working in a new industry, whereas if we go back to, I can go back to cassettes that I was listening to in the car on my holidays in the 70s. So it's really not, it's kind of, the new audio black, if you like.
Absolutely,
But as far as men are concerned, that's been the singular change. So there's not a lot of statistics available, very formal ones, not like the sort of stuff you can get out of Nielsen and all that sort of thing. But what it tended to suggest, the best evidence seems to suggest that of the great growth in audiobooks, about 70% of it are male listeners. And these are guys who would have never bought your ebook and would have never bought your paperback. So you've actually got, for authors, it's a brand new market,
It's a brand new market, and I think this is what is... And I'm also seeing a trend, okay? So
what are you seeing?
The trend that I'm seeing is that people are sort of going, I want my book published on all 3 platforms at the same time.
At once, the
at
trifecta.
Once. And I again, and you know what I suspect is going to happen? Because
What's
if you think about it, it's quite logical. What's logical is that people's ear has become more refined because they've been on podcasts. They've been trained up into podcasts for the last, period of time.
And like this over COVID,
and before that, people were podcasting. Now, people are kind of like, when a podcast is bad quality, they'll remark on it. Certainly audiobooks, and this is where you and I have a space, because you can sit down and record your own book on a phone if you want to. First of all, I don't know if it would ever pass that ACX wall, that you and I talk about.
We could have a bit of a whine about that, I reckon, later. If you
yeah, totally.